Hey guys, welcome back to another Modern Warfare 2 video. We got more leaks, more rumors, as well as some talk here about Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. So it's going to be a really exciting video. Before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you are not already. That way you guys don't miss out on any more leaks, rumors, news. We got tons of stuff still coming up on the channel before the official reveal. And this is just the beginning, dude. We're going to have more and more as time goes on. So here we go. First topic for today's video is coming from Ralph. Most of this stuff is coming from Ralph. He says that Infinity Ward's rumored 2022 title Modern Warfare 2 is assumed to budget $150 million US. That is pretty crazy. Yeah. So he posted this one. It's actually been forever ago. He posted this October 24th, 2021, and he's had a series of tweets kind of around the same topics. That's what we're going to cover. And then on February 7th, 2022, he posted a new tweet saying Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's budget is now purported to range between $250 and $300 million. So between 100 and 150 more than what was previously said back in October. So almost, I mean, it could be upwards of double what was supposed to be, say, back in October. So that's crazy. And he has a quote to go alongside that. He says, naturally, this ballpark figure is only conditional. We have built a handful of cost-effective systems over the past year, revising most departments. We've been dealt a good hand to succeed. A lot of resources are being poured into this thing. And I'm sure a lot of that budget comes down to the fact where he says here in this next tweet, there are currently 10 studios attached to developing Modern Warfare 2, which is Demonware, High Moon, Toys for Bob, Infinity Ward Austin, Infinity Ward Poland, Infinity Ward LA, Beanox, Activision, Raven, and Sledgehammer. Although he posted this tweet some time ago, and there's supposedly like even more studios helping out on it now. So I mean, between even with 10 studios, even if it is upwards of 300 million, that would be like 30 million on each studio, which doesn't even seem that crazy for more than even a year, like upwards of like 3 years work on this game. And obviously I would say a lot of that cost of $300 million is probably poured into marketing for the game as well. But that's still quite a lot of money, and I mean, it stands for good reason, though. We'll talk about that here in a second. But it's supposed to be, you know, pretty much like a once-in-a-lifetime game, and it's something that Activision is really banking on. So Ralph also said, just heard that Treyarch are also helping out, quote-unquote, all hands on deck. And then back to this whole $250 to $300 million budget. Robert Bowling, he actually worked for Infinity Ward back in the day during like the Modern Warfare 2 era, the original Modern Warfare 2 era. He says, for reference, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare had a $50 million dev budget plus a $50 million marketing budget. So $100 million, or he says, imagine what could be done with 5 times your budget, so 5 times the development budget, if the development budget is supposed to be 250. So 5 times the budget, which I mean you also kind of have to take into place like inflation and stuff like that, but still, like that is a lot of money to pour into development, which I mean the development will encompass Modern Warfare's campaign, multiplayer, as well as the Tarkov mode, as well as Warzone 2. So, I mean, this is something that Activision can easily make up with the sales of this game, which, speaking of sales, Modern Warfare 2019 has now reportedly sold more than 40 million units. Apparently, it's seen a 33.3% increase over Black Ops 1's lead of 30.72 million units sold. So it is the highest selling Call of Duty game of all time. Apparently, we have here in the top 5, we have Ghosts, Black Ops 2, MW3, Black Ops 1, and now Modern Warfare 2019, which, I mean, that's kind of crazy, though, that, I mean, the most modern game on here besides Modern Warfare was Ghosts. Ghosts was the last one on here that was at like an all-time high for the franchise, which we've kind of known now. We've known that the franchise has kind of been on a steady decline. You know, it peaked with like Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, Ghost. Ghost was really the last one that was kind of in that same golden era and was really when the franchise was super high. And then it's been going down ever since, like almost year after year, just less and less and less, until Modern Warfare 2019, which took it to in like completely new heights and has sold more than the original Black Ops game did, which is crazy. But here we go. Let's talk about more leaks and stuff. So this is a tweet from back when the whole Activision Microsoft merger was announced. So Ralph says, current Infinity Ward employee comments on the Activision Microsoft acquisition. The quote from this employee says, "I don't see it as a shift at all, a smart and calculated business opportunity since the sheer amount of talented artists and experience Microsoft is getting, let alone the IPs across platforms. Especially with King involved too, it's an awesome deal for both parties, both win, and can be seen as a blow to Sony, only since they've been doing the same over the past few years, making successful studios, PlayStation studios like Insomniac and Santa Monica Studios, but nothing at the scale of this deal. Puts Microsoft in third place worldwide behind Tencent and Sony, so that is a smart move. I can't comment on anything beyond that simply because I do not know. I think the gaming industry is in good health." Okay, pretty good. I mean, there was also some interesting stuff with that as well. So they say that several employees associated with Activision have expressed relief for an ease on annual releases, stating creativity and creatives alike shouldn't be at the cost of crunch. It was a ticking time bomb. It's been a long time coming. He also says this is also comes with a few employees concerned for what the Activision will entail, such as budget concerns, wage concerns, talent concerns, and transition concerns. Kind of interesting. I mean, it kind of means, like, how is this all going to play out, even though it's supposed to not really fully officially take place until, I want to say it's like June or July of next year, so is when it will be absolutely 100% official. So, I mean, there will be transitions in the meantime, but it won't be absolutely 100% official until like about a year from now. So next up, Ralph says that there's reportedly a documentary in progress for Call of Duty 2022. So for Modern Warfare 2, covering behind the scenes footage, returning developers, and company commentary. Pretty cool. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like those old school Halo 2 documentaries with Bungie and stuff back in the day. It was included on, I want to say it was like one of the special editions of Halo 2. It had like a whole movie about it, about the behind the scenes of the game stuff, and how there was like delays and how the developers had to crunch a whole lot, and just like a lot about the game behind the scenes, which I find that stuff very interesting. But yeah, there's apparently a documentary for it, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Is supposedly, I mean, it should be very important because the game is supposed to be kind of like a landmark game in the franchise. Next up, Ralph says previous post taken down will clarify in the future once the report is developed a little further. Campaign seems to end on a note which suggests a finale. I've heard of something related to branching narratives, which doesn't shoot down the chance of a subsequent trilogy. Okay, but then he follows it up by saying that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 intends to conclude the rebooted series. And then he says, and to further clarify, Infinity Ward are allegedly not interested in bringing back any old titles post Modern Warfare 2. They're quote-unquote looking beyond, which some people kind of alluded by that tweet, saying that, okay, so maybe this, you know, it kind of puts a nail in the coffin for a Ghost 2 or, you know, anything following up in like Infinite Warfare. Any of their previous titles are all going to be done after this game. They're going to be going on to a completely new little subset of the franchise, completely new story, new characters, everything like that. Pretty much doing its own brand new thing, just like we have with Ghost. Ghost was its own thing, wasn't really connected to the Modern Warfare series or the Modern Warfare trilogy. Same with Infinite Warfare, although that's kind of been, you know, there's Easter eggs and stuff in there, and supposedly like there's stuff that connects into that trilogy or whatever, but pretty much we had the Modern Warfare trilogy, Ghost, Infinite Warfare, and now the Modern Warfare, even though Modern Warfare's a prequel slash reboot kind of weird thing, but supposedly it'll be its own brand new thing after this game. Alright, next up, let's talk about this. He says Workbench, and he has 3 emojis on here. And Ghost of Hope, really cool guy, great leaker. He says, explain like I'm 5. And then Ralph tweets out this picture of it. So it sounds like the Workbench slash probably Gunsmith will actually show your weapons, as well as showing you kind of maybe all the different like building options for it, as well as putting on camos and stuff, which I think will be pretty cool. Because I mean, I kind of like the way that like Black Ops Cold War did it. But yeah, I mean, should be a kind of a cool little feature. Next up is that he says, in response to a question regarding development for Modern Warfare 2, an ex-Infinity Ward employee comments, it's a hard title regarding Modern Warfare 2019 to follow up, and the scope only gets bigger. And another tweet, he says, circumstances are different. It was earlier described to me as a once-in-a-generation title, hence why essentially every Activision studio are assisting the game's development. Things are moving smoothly. Okay, somebody asked him, in what capacity is Treyarch helping out with this game? Will it affect their 2023 entry? He says, assisting in lacking areas, this hardly affects their 2023 game. It's common practice, although we know at this point, though, there won't be a game in 2023, it'll be 2024 as well. So I'm sure this probably plays a little bit of a part in it, as well as, you know, just giving Treyarch finally an extra year will hopefully do dramatic things for that game. Next up, Infinity Ward Associates describes Modern Warfare 2's gameplay as most similar to Modern Warfare 2019, inclusion of several new and already existing features, vaguely stating there's just more to it, probably is what he means here. He went on to say, I was not too happy with the gameplay. It looks incredible, however. So that seems to be the kind of general consensus at this point. We've also had a number of other rumors and leaks and stuff going around from other people saying, like, currently the game's kind of in a rough state right now. The gameplay isn't the greatest. But like I've said before, I would expect that to improve as time goes on, as QA gets more time on it, as well as I'm sure we're probably going to get a beta for the game, so then they can finally get a lot more data from the community about the gameplay, because that's really where they get the most information, is when the community finally plays it. The community can test it out and give them so many more hours and so much more data to look at than they could ever possibly hope to have with just like a QA and QC department. So next up, he says, I'll insert a comment of my own here. Oftentimes, the new facets of movement and systems of play are often picked up and mastered by the players. This is the opinion of a single individual not attached to QA. By all counts, it'll certainly feel and look new. It's easy to get a sense of what the report entails. However, once you'll have to see for yourself once things eventually come out. I'm not going to convince you of an opinion. And before we talk about Warzone 2, let's talk about animation. Infinity Ward's view model team expects to upstage themselves, raising industry standards once more with their expected 2022 title, Modern Warfare 2. He says technical animations were tasked with enhancing and supplementing necessary tools for the view model team to realize their design goal. Modeled after their previous entry in the series, the team intends to set the bar for next generation of FPS games. Hands and arms are dynamic. Veins throb and pulsate. Tendons react realistically to gunfire, and muscles jiggle, deform, and simulate in reaction to hand and arm movement. As well as he linked a couple tweets from some other stuff, some other games and stuff. I'll try and link that description if I can remember. Nothing is static. They're really trying to drum into that detail of constant human motion. They fidget and gesticulate realistically. Similar to Modern Warfare 2019, numerous weapon experts were brought in for reference, though the team opted for hand key animation against mocap. Ooh, interesting there. It says Infinity Ward's associate comments on next-gen technical potential. We're super excited to take advantage of the PS5's haptic feedback feature. There's an untapped potential that we're going to unearth. What does that mean? Untapped potential, because so far it seems like the haptic feedback is only useful for, we've had that for like, games with like a bow and arrow. You'll feel like the drawstring of the bow like being pulled back in the trigger, or like say in, I'm pretty sure it was Black Ops Cold War, they said, oh, like every weapon will have like a different feel with when you pull the trigger, with the different feedback on the trigger. But it's like all it ever is with the haptic feedback is just vibrations. And I personally don't see any next generation thing to it, but Infinity Ward seems to think that there is quote unquote untapped potential that they're going to unearth. I don't know what that could be. And then here we go, let's talk about Warzone 2. Ghost of Hope, he says, based on what I've seen behind the scenes and what I've been told, I think the new map with Warzone 2 might take place here, potentially in the Atacama Desert. This is not confirmed by me and is only speculation based on behind the scenes info. Ooh, okay, interesting. Supposedly taking place somewhere in Chile. And then lastly, about Warzone 2, he says, so Modern Warfare 2 will not be integrated into Warzone Pacific whatsoever, just straight to Warzone 2. So, okay, that's a big one right there. So when this game comes out, it will have nothing to do with Warzone 1 or Caldera or anything, just everything about this new game will go straight into Warzone 2. Now, it's been said, though, that Warzone 2 will not release alongside this game. Warzone 2 is still slated for sometime early next year, so it sounds like this new game is going to be kind of pretty much totally separate from Warzone 1, Warzone Pacific, Caldera, whatever you want to call it, until we finally get Warzone 2. Until Warzone 2 comes out, then those two games are going to kind of merge and kind of have stuff there, which, there's been talk before about, okay, well, how are they going to do stuff like skins? If you buy, say, the new Godzilla skin in Warzone 1, is it going to transfer to Warzone 2? It sounds like right now the answer is no, but that is subject to change. But like I said, apparently right now the answer is no, that nothing will transfer over except for probably just your levels. Your levels will probably transfer over, and that's about it. So yeah, it sounds like skins, operators, any of that stuff will, and like weapons, all that stuff will remain in Warzone 1, and Warzone 2 will pretty much be a fresh start, other than probably your levels. Your levels, you'll be able to rank up your levels probably still same way through Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, even with Warzone 1, Vanguard, Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019. So that's it, guys. That is the latest roundup of leaks and rumors for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and you give the video a thumbs up, because we are posting tons of these videos, trying to do one at least every day. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.